The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly didn't just live on in the hearts of fans. It marked a turbulent journey for the actors who brought it to life. Now, at 94, Clint Eastwood is still going strong, while his co-stars have all tragically passed. What happened to them? Let's find out. Lee Van Cleef as Santenza, Angel Eyes. Lee Van Cleef was born on January 9, 1925, in Somerville, New Jersey. When he was 41 years old, he played Santenza, also known as Angel Eyes, the ruthless villain in the film. He portrayed a cold, calculating character with dagger-sharp eyes, turning himself into an iconic Western antagonist. Thanks to this role and his appearance in For a Few Dollars More, he solidified his name despite fierce competition in the industry. But behind the scenes, Van Cleef's life was far more turbulent. He was married 3 times, with his final marriage to Barbara Havalone lasting from 1976 until his death, and he struggled with alcoholism, which affected his health. In his later years, he battled heart disease and throat cancer, but found comfort in painting to cope with the pain. He passed away at the age of 64 on December 16, 1989, in Oxnard, California, from a heart attack complicated by cancer. Eli Wallak as Tuco Ramirez. Eli Wallak was born on December 7, 1915, in Brooklyn, New York. When he was 51 years old, he played Tuco Ramirez, the cunning and unpredictable bandit in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, delivering a performance full of energy with the perfect mix of humor and menace, making Tuco one of the most memorable anti-heroes on screen. Off-screen, he enjoyed a fulfilling marriage. Wallak was married to Ann Jackson from 1948 until his death, and they had 3 children together. He enjoyed storytelling and playing cards to relax, even though aging sometimes wore him down. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 98 on June 24, 2014 in New York due to natural causes, leaving behind a remarkable cinematic legacy. Aldo Fray as Alcoholic Union Captain. Aldo Fray was born on April 10, 1924, in Naples, Italy. When he was 42 years old, he played the Alcoholic Union Captain in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, portraying a tragic, war-weary figure whose tired eyes and trembling voice captured the futility of conflict. His performance left a lasting impression, showing the emotional depth of a soldier broken by war. Away from the spotlight, Fray led a quiet family life, married to Lydia Gianotti, and happy with his children. He suffered from lung disease later in life, but still found joy in cooking and watching soccer to stay positive. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 86 on June 26, 2010, in Rome, Italy, due to complications from pneumonia. Mario Brega as Corporal Wallace. Mario Brega was born on March 25, 1923, in Rome, Italy. When he was 43 years old, he played Corporal Wallace, the brutal prison guard in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, portraying a terrifying presence through sheer physicality and aggression, heightening the tension during torture scenes under Angel Eyes. Though his screen time was brief, his performance showed his strong ability to embody villainous roles. In real life, Brega was a simple man, married to Maria Ghezzi, and lived peacefully with his small family. He struggled with heart disease later in life, but enjoyed fishing and playing chess to unwind. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 71 on July 23, 1994, in Rome, Italy, from a heart attack. Rada Rasimoff as Maria. Rada Rasimoff was born on May 7, 1938, in Trieste, Italy. When she was 28 years old, she played Maria, the tragic woman caught between war and the cruelty of Angel Eyes in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, bringing an emotional presence that resonated with audiences through her pained expressions. Though a small role, it left a lasting emotional mark on the film. In her private life, Rasimov stayed out of the spotlight. She never publicly discussed marriage, lived independently, and avoided scandals. In her later years, she suffered from age-related illness, but found peace in reading and tending to her garden. Sadly, she passed away at the age of 82 on March 31, 2021, in Rome, Italy, due to natural causes. Luigi Pastili as Father Pablo Ramirez. Luigi Pastili was born on July 19, 1929, in Grosseto, Italy. When he was 37 years old, he portrayed Father Pablo Ramirez, Tuco's estranged brother in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, delivering a solemn yet powerful performance that revealed Tuco's painful past through a tense reunion. The role showcased Pastili's stage-honed ability to convey complex emotions. But his life was a tragic one. He had a tumultuous relationship with singer Milva, never married, and gradually sank into deep depression. He turned to writing to cope with his sadness, but career pressure from the Great Silence took a toll on him. He died at the age of 66 on April 21, 1996, in Milan, Italy, by suicide due to personal anguish and professional exhaustion. Aldo Samrell as member of Angel Eyes Gang. Aldo Samrell was born on February 23, 1931, in Madrid, Spain. When he was 35 years old, he played one of the members of Angel Eyes Gang in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, delivering a fierce gunman who added to the gang's menace with his menacing appearance and decisive actions. This role was a perfect piece in the film's chaotic world. In real life, however, Samrell was a quiet man, married to Candelaria Sanchez, and had a happy family. He suffered a stroke later in life and enjoyed watching old movies to relax. He passed away at the age of 79 on July 10, 2010, in Alicante, Spain, due to stroke complications. Bonito Stephanelli as member of Angel Eyes Gang. Bonito Stephanelli was born on September 2, 1928, in Rome, Italy. When he was 38 years old, he played a member of Angel Eyes Gang in the film, portraying a skillful gunman with exceptional combat abilities, contributing to the intensity of the action scenes thanks to his stunt expertise. This role was a testament to Stephanelli's versatility in both acting and action choreography. Behind his modest career, he had a rather peaceful married life. He married Maria Gazy and lived happily with their children. Later in life, he faced declining health, but it was also during this time that he returned to his passion for crafting as a way to relax. He passed away at the age of 71 on December 18, 1999, in Rome, Italy. Antonio Molino Rojo as Captain Harper. Antonio Molino Rojo was born on September 14, 1926, in Valencia, Spain. When he was 40 years old, he played Captain Harper, a Union officer in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, portraying a stern character who embodied the cruelty of war through his rigid posture and cold tone. This role helped emphasize the film's theme about the futility of conflict. In real life, however, he lived a simple life. He married Carmen Lopez and stayed low-key with his family. In his final years, his health gradually declined, but he remained passionate about walking to stay healthy. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 85 on November 2, 2011, in Barcelona, Spain. Antonio Casale as Jackson/Bill Carson. Antonio Casale was born on May 17, 1932, in Italy. When he was 34 years old, he played Jackson, also known as Bill Carson, the dying Union soldier, portraying a key character who triggers the gold chase with his desperate eyes and hauntingly weak voice. Although the role was brief, it served as a crucial catalyst for the plot. While his career thrived in horror films, he struggled at times with being overshadowed by bigger stars. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 84 on February 4, 2017, in Rome, Italy. John Barthas as Sheriff. John Barthas was born on February 6, 1915, in Budapest, Hungary. When he was 51 years old, he played the sheriff in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, portraying a figure who represented law in the chaotic world of the West, with a calm demeanor, yet powerless against crime. Though a small part, the role highlighted the contrast between order and chaos. In real life, Barthas was a warm man, married to Eva Sharenyi, and lived happily with his family. Although he grew weaker with age, he continued his painting habit. He passed away at the age of 76 on March 7, 1991, in Budapest, Hungary. Enzo Patito as Storekeeper. Enzo Patito was born on July 24, 1897, in Italy. When he was 69 years old, he played the storekeeper in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, bringing to life a small but memorable character with a mix of humor and tension during his confrontation with Tuco, lighting up the film's atmosphere with his panicked expressions. Though brief, the role was a delightful highlight. But not long after the film's release, he fell seriously ill. Still, with a love for storytelling, he used it to distract himself from the pain. He passed away at the age of 69 on July 17, 1967, in Italy. Cello Alonso as Stephen's wife. Cello Alonso was born on April 10, 1933, in central Lugareño, Camagüey, Cuba. When she was 33 years old, she played Stephen's wife in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, offering a brief but captivating silent appearance, with a mysterious beauty and magnetic presence that had defined her fame, even in this small cameo in Sergio Leone's masterpiece. The role served as a subtle nod to her past as a sex bomb in spaghetti westerns. Behind that fleeting spotlight, however, was a life full of transitions. She married producer Aldo Pamiglia in 1961 after meeting him on the set of Morgan Il Pirata, gave birth to their son Aldino in 1962, and stayed by Aldo's side until his passing in 1986. Later in life, she moved to Tuscany, faced declining health with age, but kept her lively spirit through caring for cats and running a small hotel, simple joys that made her final years peaceful. She passed away at the age of 85 on February 20, 2019, in Mentana, Lazio, Italy. Sergio Mendizabal as Blonde Bounty Hunter. Sergio Mendizabal was born on July 3, 1920, in San Sebastian, Spain. When he was 46 years old, he played the blonde bounty hunter in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, portraying a minor character with a cold demeanor that heightened the tension during Blondie's pursuits. Behind this performance, his real life was surprisingly calm. He married a woman outside the film industry and lived happily with his family. He passed away at the age of 85 in 2005 in Spain. Livio Lorenzon as Baker. Livio Lorenzon was born on May 6, 1923, in Trieste, Italy. When he was 43 years old, he played Baker, portraying a stern-faced character who helped expose Angel Eye's scheming. This role served as a clever piece in the film's layered narrative. Though his character was devious, Lorenzon's real life was quite the opposite. He married Carla Bianchi and lived peacefully with their children. Later in life, he suffered from liver disease, but instead of falling into despair, he returned to his love for fishing to lift his spirits. He passed away at the age of 48 on December 23, 1971, in Latisana, Italy, due to cirrhosis. Cladio Scarilei as Mexican Bounty Hunter. Cladio Scarilei was born on February 10, 1924, in Rome, Italy. When he was 42 years old, he played the Mexican bounty hunter in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, delivering a fierce-looking character that added drama to Tuco's chase scenes. Though a small role, it reflected the diversity of the film's supporting cast. He passed away at the age of 68 on July 25, 1992, in Rome, Italy. Sandro Scarilei as Mexican Peon. Sandro Scarilei was born on April 22, 1935, in Rome, Italy. When he was 31 years old, he played the Mexican peon in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, portraying a minor but authentic character whose worn-down face helped underscore the film's chaotic wartime backdrop. His role was a subtle but meaningful touch in the wider story. Away from the screen, he struggled with heart disease in his final years. However, he found peace in gardening, which helped him relax. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 64 on August 31, 1999, in Rome, Italy, due to a heart attack. Clint Eastwood as Blondie. Clint Eastwood was born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California. When he was 36 years old, he played Blondie, the mysterious and skilled gunman in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, delivering a cold, quiet confidence that helped shape the iconic lone hero figure of the spaghetti western genre. This role was not just a turning point, it launched Eastwood into stardom, with precise gunfire and a piercing stare that defined his on-screen presence. Yet behind the silver screen, his personal life was a long, drama-filled saga. He was married twice, first to Maggie Johnson from 1953 to 1984, with whom he had 2 children, and later to Dina Ruiz from 1996 to 2014, with whom he had another child, alongside numerous extramarital relationships that kept tabloids busy. At age 94 in 2025, he remains active as a director, still passionate about golf and jazz, and an Oscar winner for Unforgiven. Rada Rasimoff as Maria. Rada Rasimoff was born on May 7, 1938, in Trieste, Italy. When she was 28 years old, she played Maria in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, portraying an emotionally rich character caught between the chaos of war and the cruelty of angel eyes, leaving audiences haunted by her sorrowful eyes and fragile presence in her brief but powerful scenes. But off-screen, Rasimov's life held its own hues. She was once married to actor Gianni Musi, a love that led to the birth of 2 talented daughters, Mascia and Maria Stella Musi, before the couple divorced and she chose a quieter life. The sister of actor Ivan Rasimov and daughter-in-law of Enrico Glory and Gianna Pacetti, she stayed deeply rooted in her artistic family. By 2025, at age 86, she still finds joy in reading and tending to her small garden, simple pleasures that keep her spirit at peace through the passage of time. After nearly 6 decades, the legacy of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly lives on, not just through the film, but through the unforgettable lives of its cast. Which actor's story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.